In this video, I'm a little bit on the sick side, so if you guys don't mind my voice or myself over here for the energy, so if you guys don't mind, I'm trying my best to get on throughout the video because there's actually some very nifty PlayStation 5 Pro, PlayStation 6 future news that might be involving when it comes to the real-time, like, basically usage of the console itself and how things actually might be changed, integrated, and also basically using cloud storage and data to go and make your console even better. So if you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy it as well, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the $500 PlayStation 5 or money giveaway going on either way, so make sure you guys are subscribed for that one. We also have the Twitter and Twitch down below, and of course, like I said, don't mind me, I'm a little bit on the sick side. But sometimes the show must go on. So as you guys probably know, there is a PlayStation 5 Pro or a PlayStation 5 6, and there's probably going to be a few different changes when it comes to the console itself. Now, when it comes to the console overall, we're going to probably be seeing some internal changes when it comes to CPU, GPU, and also some internal specs, but as well, software and also operating systems also can sometimes be changed too as well, and that usually is a nice fine-tuning factor to make your console run and be a little bit better over time. Now, when it comes to this, the future of the consoles too also might be integrating some brand new stuff in terms of things like AI. Now, as you guys know or may have seen, we've made a few videos how Xbox has been trying to integrate AI a little bit more into their systems if they have a chance to. Now, what this basically means is that they want to either utilize like things like machine learning or utilizing things like AI for when it comes to community management, when it comes to banning accounts, when it comes to maybe game suggestions, and as well, a lot of game studios are also looking into AI and how they can somehow make their games better or integrate things even more. That's how it kind of seems what's going to be happening over here for the PlayStation 5 Pro or PlayStation 6, or as well maybe just an overall future system update. Now, when it comes to AI has been a little bit on the skeptical side. If you guys don't know, there's been a lot of big back and forth when it comes to the legalities of using AI, mainly because we don't necessarily know what information they want to gather, how they gather it, how they're going to store it, and etc., but as well also a lot of pushback and feedback when it comes to big, proper, like, jobs. So voice acting, we've actually been seeing some games that are now just utilizing AI for voice acting. So let's go and say they want to have someone who sounds exactly like me. I'm not sure why they would do that, but they'd have me basically go and say like, hi, and, them, the, dog, cat, zombie. Just basically have a chance to have all the different types of like sound effects and basically read out a sentence, and then the AI can basically go and integrate that same the, and then use that for other words like there, and using other words like are for them say like, armed, or whatever they want to go and integrate for a copy paste. And using stuff like that basically does go and affect a lot of people's jobs. But part two of this is also a lot of controversy when it comes to things like maybe potentially community bans or basically going through AI and maybe necessarily, yelling at someone or just kind of not being the best system out there, for kind of lack of better terms. But right now, it kind of seems like the PlayStation 5 might be utilizing this AI processor for real-time predictive gaming. So basically, the next upcoming console now has a patent in regards now to this technology. Now, it's also kind of intriguing too, because we have also been seeing this floating around a little bit. Like, I've actually made videos that kind of talk about the subject of what this is basically being utilized for this, saying that Sony's PlayStation 5 Pro or next-gen PlayStation 6 console could feature some sort of dedicated AI processor that enables interesting new functionalities and basically just integrating AI into their consoles themselves. Saying a new patent from Sony Interactive Entertainment could hint at dedicated AI processors in future PlayStation consoles, and them also integrating this AI technology into their console themselves. Now, this is something I've also mentioned before and talked about as well, where we've seen this, but it also seems like a brand new kind of more, I guess, like part 2 update for this, saying Sony has filed an interesting patent over here from the patent itself that may rely on AI tech in order to operate. The patent is for a robust predictive assistance solution that leverages artificial intelligence to study play patterns through a predictive lens and then react accordingly, providing tips to players when needed. Now, we've been seeing a lot of information when it comes to AI in regards to basically them using machine learning on how bosses maybe go react to you. We've also seen also in terms of like how to give you the best tips out there to make sure that it's fun. I'm not sure if that's a good way to go explain it. Basically making sure like the boss battle or game, if you're, say, stuck in a room for 30 minutes, you just have to talk to one person. Maybe you missed someone. Maybe there's a box you missed. Maybe there's a certain item. Maybe there's like a tool tip. Let's think like a Zelda game. Obviously, Zelda's not on PlayStation, but let's say it for that for a reference. Maybe you just have to realize like you have to come back to this spot at some point in the future. Maybe there's like a hook chain you have to unlock in the future. You don't have it at that current second. You sit there for 20 minutes and the game's like, hey, here's a tip, you've been wasting like a half hour here, here's how you do this. Or something for a boss. Maybe the boss has a very large specific amount of damage. Maybe it's more of like a boss that's more focused on parrying. Maybe this boss is more focused on like, I don't know, maybe it's like technically most people usually fight this boss at level 50 or level 30, maybe come back. And all this type of stuff has basically been machine learning and AI, again, it's essentially like looked at, assessed, whatever the best word for it, so that people can know if they're in the right area, and they basically want to use this to go use these tooltips to make sure you can progress through the game and enjoy the gameplay. We've seen this type of pattern pop up before, but it kind of seems like it's now in the next level where it's not going to be also utilizing AI and also maybe using brand new technology to go and use these processors and also cloud gaming to make this work. So basically they have a pen for a robust predictive assistance solution that leverages artificial intelligence to study play patterns through a predictive lens. So basically saying like, hey, like if like say you're at a boss for 10 hours, they want to give you a tip, they'll give you the tips, you can progress through the game and enjoy it. For example, if a player is trying to beat a boss but repeatedly fails, the pen tech would give the user an on-screen hint on how to defeat the enemy. Sony already has something similar to this with the PS5's Game Help feature, so it makes sense for them to utilize AI and also utilize like machine learning and also like cloud. The cloud basically just having like the save data for everyone to be like, hey, the average boss fights 30 minutes. Now at this point, maybe it's 3 hours, whatever it might be. So Sony already has something similar to this with the PS5's Game Help feature that isn't actually reactatory, but instead is a series of static wiki-style tips and tricks. Sony's patterns would be more dynamic, smart, and also highly also conditional by contrast, where they have some of these photos over here basically trying a chance to go and showcase like where you may would want to go, or maybe having things like I said, like the game tech. Like, so this is maybe why I try to use the game chest example, because like what if you needed a certain item? What if you basically needed more HP? What if you missed a hint? Or what if like there's a really cool like hidden treasure that you keep on walking by and you want these game hints on? I'm assuming most game developers would make these optional, or it's like a 50-50, where it's like, do you want these hints on? Yes, we'll give you more extra stuff to make sure you get your character. Or as well, part 2, maybe sometimes it's like, hey, the game itself, like you just want to turn it off so it's nothing bad, you go from there. So it's intriguing to see nonetheless for some of this brand new technology when it comes to all of this machine learning with it. So in one embodiment, the pen would collect the player's telemetry data based on how they play and use that data to build a player characteristic profile. So we've kind of seen this and talked about this on a few different subjects, but we're getting more information on it. Basically saying like, hey, like you are usually someone who dodge rolls. This boss is better on parrying. Do more parries. Hey, you usually go and like heal maybe late. Maybe you had to start healing a bit earlier. Maybe you need to go and utilize like a potion that gives you extra armor or like fire defense or whatever, and you might have a chance to go beat it. Like a lot of different stuff like this, but then utilizing the cloud to make it seem a little more easier. Saying it's also worth mentioning that cloud servers are referred to many times in this patent, so the AI processing may not be dedicated, but also these hardware-based chips found, they also could be also hardware chip-based found in the new PlayStations. So you gotta go either or. Either way, this is new technology when it comes to the cloud, where the cloud gaming itself can go and highlight this and accentuate this, or as well maybe have internal chips in the PS5 or PlayStation 6 that also have a chance to utilize that too as well. So using the profile model during a current gameplay, one or more processors, such as an artificial intelligence processor, can predict where the user is intending to navigate or achieve in a specific context. So basically them trying to go from the blank. You go do it 30 times and the AI most likely will realize that you have to go and do a certain way. Like maybe a good example is, once again, you have to like maybe get to a new area. You keep on trying to jump into like a pit because maybe there's like a big like cliff. You realize you have to have like a hooked chain or maybe like a glider or whatever it might be in the future to go and then move towards the game. Or the same thing too as well, when it comes to maybe you have to go and maybe chop down a tree and put that tree into that place, like whatever the game might go and be. And if you're just sitting there for an hour, the game wants you to progress, you kind of go from there. They also say if the user is attempting a game input or a combination of inputs for a specific context in which the player is weak in, the one or more processors can provide assistance to the user in the form of suggestions for button inputs and tactics. So maybe let's say a good example, you keep on rolling into spikes. I don't know. They go and say, hey, don't roll into spikes. Just try to give you guys like a really base level because you don't necessarily know how this will be integrated into future technology, but it may be a good example is like Elden Ring. Or Elden Ring will maybe have like these little like small spotches where people keep on flying off a cliff, so that people like leave the note saying don't fall off the cliff, or this is a fake path, or this is maybe like a hidden path too as well. So maybe even the game itself could be like, hey, are you having issues? Maybe get some light, maybe go check out a hidden path, maybe like look beyond where you usually would look. And then basically just using this cloud technology with basically just probably a lot of this information I'll put together, and then having that chance to see like, hey, it took 5 million people do this, 3 million people did it very efficiently, 1 million took a while, 50,000 took an hour, so these 50,000 people, let's try to give them a little hint to move on. Hopefully all these words kind of make sense, because it does make sense to me. Like, you basically just want to make sure people are enjoying the games and making progress with the games and everything else. So the penny also gets even more interesting with the tips and tricks wouldn't just show up on screen, but also could show up on the controller's face as well. We kind of talked about this subject before, but it kind of seems like a little bit more information came out, more so focused on the cloud gaming side, which also makes a lot of sense too as well, where they also might even add a dedicated AI processor to into a potentially neutral processing unit, or the NPU, into these next-gen consoles to basically utilize cloud gaming as a whole as well. So give me your thoughts and comments if you guys would like this, because this kind of seems like we've seen enough patent information popping off, then in theory this actually might be more likely than expected. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below. Also make sure you guys are subscribed and utilizing all the giveaway details, and I appreciate y'all so much for watching here in the first place.